In the bustling world of technology and connectivity, one trend stands out, gaining momentum and making waves in the fabric of modern communication. This trend, my dear listeners, is none other than podcasting.
We're gonna have a guest on.
We're going to Salval for the potty.
Influential people in the world.
Well, life be just so random.
Today, you got a couple things you want to talk about?
Thought I was gone. We are back. This is the live track L8.
Because I accidentally Hey guys, welcome to Just Yakkin. I'm Justin.
I'm Jared.
And today, this is our very first episode. We've had many runs before this. And
This would be the official.
This is the official episode. However, this podcast is a guest-based podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to have guests on that we find interesting. So, in the coming future, there's going to be, for example, like a love expert on. Anything that we find is interesting, we're going to try to bring them on. And we're going to ask questions so that you guys watching can find out a lot more and to get your mind off of whatever you're thinking about. So
what I'm looking forward to is the Dream Theorist. Jessica, our sister, does art, have her on for one. Another big person. You have any other people that like?
I just say keep it low key. It adjusts, and we don't really know what's going to happen so far. So it's up in the air right now, but we do have an idea. We have like an outline that we want to do.
Justin has like 50 ideas on like different
for you guys,
topics and things to explore, I guess you could say.
Yeah. To start off though, this podcast is not going to get you guys any useful information. It's not going to tell you how to do your business. It's not going to tell you how to do your taxes. It's not going to tell you what you should get in vaccines or what type of like where you should sit politically. This is a podcast where it's just us talking.
It's just opinions in the air, just going back and forth, just college students at the end of the day, just exploring different aspects of life. Nothing more. You could take the information that you want from it, but I wouldn't take it outside of the podcast. Like, it's just general information that's just opinionated.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is going to be moments in time where we do talk about certain issues, and yes, we have an opinion. We are people, so we are going to have an opinion on these certain topics. But at the end of the day, you should have your opinions too. They shouldn't be the exact same as us, and just enjoy it. I mean, the whole purpose of this is so you can kind of get away and relax. So whatever you're doing right now, I mean, if you're doing your homework, keep doing it, obviously. But whatever you're doing, to listen to this. I mean, if you guys want to stay, you're more than welcome. But yeah, so it's just quite literally us just yapping.
That's the reason for the name, Just Yakkin. But to the whole start of this, Justin was really interested in podcasts, and he's been watching a couple. Do you want to call out any ones that kind of inspired you on your path?
I listened to the Joe Rogan Experience, Impulsive, Jeff FM. I was listening to David Dobrik's, but he stopped doing it. But
oh, he did?
Yep.
Wow.
He stopped. I think his last one was in like 2021.
I remember seeing that on Spotify, and I was like, "This is amazing," because
Yeah.
they stopped the videos.
Yeah.
So I was like, "So."
Yeah, that is something that is crazy. I don't know why they would want to stop something so great. I mean, they weren't. But I'm also. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work going those little quick videos. But
4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I mean, I was always shut down, and people were saying, well, you can't do anything off of it. You'll never be anything. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm there, but a lot of stuff has happened. As you guys can see, everything is fallen into our hands, and we're trying to make use of it right now. So
yeah, we've been working to it for a while now, but it was a very jumbled process. Like, it just slowly fit itself into like a way of working. Like, the room was like, oh, we have a room now to do it. We went out, we're like, oh, we can maybe get some pictures. Like nothing was in the room. It was just blank. Didn't have the couch in here, rug, nothing.
Yeah.
And we're exploring what store?
Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby. And I was like, yo, Justin, Like we're walking through the aisles, looking at all the different pictures. I'm like, I know they have a yak section. And they didn't. It was all dispersed throughout the store. But we were walking around, and I was just sitting there like, Justin, I have an amazing name. Because we were thinking of names for like a month. And the name I came up with was Just Yakkin. I'm like, tell me that's not unique. And
We are not affiliated to Yik Yak, the app. It's just a different name. So if people out there are like, that's that. No, it's not. We're our own entity. And
as of right now.
as of right now, yeah, I don't know.
Just starting on
Just
all
starting.
platforms. So we're on Instagram, Spotify. I forget. Justin set up like 4 different accounts, and we got the username for all of them.
Yeah.
Just_Yakkin. So
Yeah, make sure you guys follow and hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified when we post our next podcast. And if you're seeing this from TikTok, Instagram, be sure to like it and share at Just_Yakkin. You can find us on almost every social media except Twitter, because
what are we gonna do?
what
on
are we going to
Twitter?
do with Twitter at the end of the day?
Maybe in the future.
But yeah, no. So you definitely can follow us on there.
We were walking through, got the name, just like we're just like, oh, this is like a potential name. Settled down on it. We were like, okay, we'll do something with the yaks. Talked to our sister to make us art for the TV and this and that. And then it came to the financial of getting everything. Started with the camera, knew a friend from Best Buy who helped us out. And everything just slowly fell into the room after that, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it wasn't all at once. This over the course of the past 5 months, we've been slowly getting stuff. Like we started with the camera, and then with the camera, we were like, all right, well, we want to put it in a room, and we have a room in our house, and we just kind of slowly started adding. So everything you see behind us is kind of what we touched up and what we kind of added. So to talk a little bit more about this show, it's technically a 3-person co-host podcast with one guest that's coming on, hopefully every so often. It's not guaranteed.
It's not going to be every episode unless it works out to be that way.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just 3 co-hosts.
Yep.
3 different college students.
So you guys might get some episodes where it's just 3 of us talking, but it's not going to be bad. You're going to love it. But we do have a person who is out, and it is the first episode, which is kind of a bummer. But Rob will be here our next episode, and he'll bring the crazy energy. He's very high energy. He's very
He's upbeat.
He's upbeat. He's always happy, and his input and the way he thinks through stuff is so incredible, and he is a blessing to have on the show. But we have the free time, and I think just us coming to one another and being like, we really want to start this, and it is the time to start it. We just took it in our own hands and kind of ran with it. So
Now, to think about this idea of a podcast. So you have to get the mics, could be wireless or wired. We debated that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But with like the couch, the setup, putting it on YouTube, using cameras, and just having different, like all the different platforms and everything you have to do for a podcast.
it's a lot of work.
Would you say it's doable for anyone to start a podcast?
I think it is possible. I think you could start with just your iPhone and then your wired headphones that you get with an iPhone sometimes.
Also, some people usually just do a solo podcast. They don't have
there's
to
nothing
have
wrong
a
with that.
room. They could use their bedroom, for instance, and you could just set up a camera.
You don't even have to record it. You could just get the audio.
That is true.
There's an app on your phone, free. It'll record, I don't know the exact length, but I'd assume it would be infinite.
I've recorded multiple lectures, 40, like an hour.
And it's
15.
on podcast, so all you do is you just press record and it starts recording the audio. And you can go and edit and transfer and move all your files to a computer, or if you want to upload them, you can download them to your phone and then just upload them from your phone to Spotify. So you guys seeing us do this, I want you guys to be motivated, and I want you to pick up something, whether it's a new sport, a new hobby, or a harder class. Yeah,
podcasting potentially.
Yeah, just I hope this encourages you guys that nothing is impossible. I mean, we're not even famous, but we have initiative, and we have drive, and I feel like that's what's motivating us, and that won't stop ever. So
100 episodes later.
yeah, this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot. I'm very excited to see what the future entails for us, and how it's gonna be completely different. We're gonna look back on this and we're gonna be like, wow,
Wow, that was rough.
that was rough. They were so awkward. They were like, they just didn't know how to really talk well. And it's just like you become a master of your craft when you just get so well into it. So, speaking about someone being a master of their craft, Jared is an excellent skier, and I feel like this should be noted.
If I could, I would have went pro skiing if I could have from high school. I was doing everything on terrain park, like the years from like sophomore year on to senior year. Terrain park every day. We mobbed it, me and my buddies. I never learned how to do a backflip or a front flip, but basically everything in between. And it was like my dream to go out to Colorado, do college there, and just like say I'm going to college and then just kind of get a job at the ski resort and just ski for a while.
Yeah, no, I've seen him ski, and it
It's
is
one of my
phenomenal.
passions.
Yeah, he's very, very good at what he does. He's humbling himself when he says, "I'm all right," but he's really good. And
You could always get better at something.
that is true.
So
But there's a 10,000 hour rule. Did you know about this?
I wouldn't say I'm at 10,000.
But do you know
I've
about
won a
this?
lot. Yeah. We
So you do
talked
know about, like-
it in high school at some point
Yeah.
for a
So
class.
when you do a certain activity, I don't know if you guys know this, so this is the first time for you. When you do something for the first time, you're going to be really, really bad at it. So let's just give, for example, volleyball, something that we're very passionate about. And our level of skill is very, very different. I would consider him way better than I am because he's had more time into it than I
Now,
do.
is that the case? Think about
Well,
it.
no, I know,
You started
but-
at freshman year. I started
Yeah,
at sophomore year.
but-
technically,
I know, but what I'm saying is like you played more for a team longer.
I mean, if you're out on the court
Yes,
and
yes.
if you're doing outside,
Yes,
then yeah. I
yes,
guess you could
that's
say
what
that.
I'm saying.
Okay.
So like you have more in-game experience than I do. Now I touched the ball sooner than you did, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because it's not like the game experience.
Yeah,
But
of course.
the 10,000 hour rule, it was read in a book, and I don't know the name off of mine, so I'll put it in the video. So I'm giving like credit, but it's basically a study that's found that when somebody has 10,000 hours in a certain hobby or skill or whatever they do, they perform so much significantly better than people who are under that. Now, I don't know if it's the exact case of Jared has 999 hours in something and I have 1,000, I'm going to be way better. That's not the case. It's just saying with a lot of time comes a lot of great experience and skill that come with it, and they call it the 10,000 hour rule. So
It's individual based. It's based off that person from where they started to where they ended.
yeah,
Well, if you put time into anything in life, you will, what's it called? Become better over time.
Yeah.
That's with everything from sports to you name it, to school. Like the more you put into something, the more you get out of it.
yeah, no, it's definitely a learning curve because there is moments in time when let's just say you're at a certain amount of hours and you're halfway there and you're like, I feel like I'm getting nowhere. You just got to keep going. You got to keep pushing because, I mean, being in college, it's a roller coaster.
I was
You
just
get
about
up to the
say
peak
that. I
and
saw an analogy of that where it was just like it showed Olaf from the one movie Frozen. It showed Olaf. It was basically where Olaf was like beaten up some days, and then like other days he was just like with the people that he like loved around him, and he had his ups and downs and this and that. But like the moral of like the story was that life's like a roller coaster, that it's not always great, and you will go through downs and ups, but you will end up where you want to be if you just strive for where you want to be, where the people that you're around and everything. Especially with the people that you're around. Big influence in your life.
yeah, you got to choose your friends wisely and strategically. And I'm not saying use your friends. I'm saying there's somebody who you admire and you look up to and you want to kind of be, they're like your role model in a sense, like a big brother. Follow those people because I guarantee you that those people will always be in your life a lot longer than the people that you're like, oh, they seem fun for a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, going to parties and doing that with certain people. You'll always like, you'll have those connections, but the person you consider as like a brother to you, that's the person you want in your life. And that's the person you want to be friends with because they put you on that roller coaster of your highest highs. They'll be there for your lowest lows, and you'll never forget them, even if you guys separate, because that's what happens. I mean, we found that out with high school.
Oh, yeah.
You get separated pretty quick. And if you're listening to this and you're in high school, I'm not trying to make you scared. It's just, it's different. It's very different. It's not bad, but it's different.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. In a small amount of time, you learn a lot about individuals, just in general. Just you learn a lot about everything. Once you kind of are on your own, it's just like life kind of hits you, and it's just like, wow, I'm not where I used to be, and you're in a whole different environment where, if it's not college, it's not in a dorm. I mean, let's just say you're in an apartment, so to say, or this or that. Like, life is always changing, and it's always evolving. Like, I definitely didn't think I'd be here doing this in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Not up till the last 6 months. This was like an idea, something we want to strive for.
And it's facilitated. I mean, it's here. It's physical. It's not like made up. It's not just a sketch. It's not just something that we've had in our minds. I mean, we've had it in our minds for a long time. But to actually get to where we're at right now, this is phenomenal. It's a huge step forward.
Sorry, just.
But yeah, I'm just very happy. But there's stuff that today was so funny, and we want to share it with you guys. We were looking to get some haircuts because, you know, to have a nice haircut.
I was
Spring
looking
break,
like
you know.
Shaggy, man.
Yeah,
my hair was just all over the place. It was like hanging.
We wanted to
over my
freshen up
eyes.
for you guys. We wanted to look professional as possible. Definitely, when you go through like a period of time where you have a long hair and then you just get it cut, you feel so much better. Does that happen with you?
I mean, you feel different. I mean, I wouldn't say better because some people rock long hair.
Today we were trying to get haircuts, and it's Sunday. I don't know why, but a lot of these places are closed on Sundays.
Most
Makes
barber
sense.
shops.
Yes. So I was looking on good old Google, and I was like, nearest barber shops. And I was looking, and there was these ones that were all closed. They had really good reviews. They're saying they're awesome. And I found this one that I was like, okay, maybe. But it was like you had to book online, and it was just, it didn't seem like it was for me. Like,
Is that the one downtown?
that's the one that Jessica went to.
Oh, okay.
But so we were like, I ended up calling him. I was like, I don't think that's the one. It just doesn't feel, it just feels kind of like a fast food restaurant type vibe. It's just like you go in there and it's like quick.
I believe that one that Jessica went to, our sister, mind you, that's who Jessica is. She's the artist that we want to bring on later. I don't know if we already mentioned that, but that's her name. That place, I'm pretty sure it's a chain, meaning it's like McDonald's, like you're saying, and it's all over the country. It's, well, you know the name. I don't want to like pull it like put it out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't want to go to that one. He didn't, at least, and he like kind of let the idea die. And he was just like, "We're not gonna get haircuts today. We'll just wait till Monday, go out, find a barbershop, and figure it out then." So I called you at like 5 o'clock and was just like, "Yo, are we doing anything?" Because I didn't hear back from him after you like called the place. And
Yeah, so I was like kind of bummed out because like I just didn't want to go there and just get a haircut that was very, very cheaply like very cheaply assisted. They wouldn't have done as good as what we have right now. So we were looking around and we found something that was like 8 minutes away. And we were like, all right, we go there. I give him a call, and I said to Jared, I was like, before we went, I was like, there's definitely a language barrier. And I was like, it's noticeable, but I was like, I don't think that's a problem. I was like, sometimes like, you know, like they have like a receptionist. So we get parked, and the wind is just blowing in our face. It's like snow, and it's just like a quick
a snow
squall. Yeah, snow
so-
squall. And it was blowing in our face, and we
we were coated.
Yeah, we were coated in like particles of snow and ice, and just walking 3 minutes up the sidewalk. And we walk in the place, and we get in, we start laughing because it was like we got hit with a crazy amount of snow like really quick. And we look, and these people are looking at us laughing. And I was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Like, it's funny. Well, then we were like, yeah, we're here for a haircut. And they didn't say anything. And then they kind of just, like, nodded and smiled. And I was like... And
then the guy from the back walked up. The one guy that partially knew English, I guess you could say. He walked up. He's like, you were the person on the phone, right? He, like, worded it a certain type of way.
So, basically, what ended up happening is we were like, yep, we're here. And the one guy's like, oh, yeah. He started to go, and he's like, I'm going to go with you. And Jared said that to him because Jared didn't know. And he started walking and following. So they started laughing because at the end of the day, we don't know any other language except English. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I don't.
High school.
Yeah.
With UI and Jess.
So I was like, all right. So we sit down, and you know, like how when someone's cutting your hair, you kind of want to have a good conversation with them. I tried to open up. I was like, so how you doing? He's like, good. And I'm like, all right. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, when does this place usually get busy? And he's like, Fridays.
See.
And I'm like, because like I just want to like, he seems like such a nice guy. But this, mind you, this guy's like cooking. Like he's doing so much. He's like, he's going through changing all his cutters, and he's like sitting there. And I've never had this much care taken of me when I'm getting a haircut ever. Like I've never had them change the blades on their what is that? The thing that's like the razor? Yeah, it's a razor. Yeah. They were changing the blades on it, and then they were changing the razors, and they were doing all this to get like more precise. And they were asking me like these questions I never like. My one guy's like, do you want it like square? You want it like round it off? And then he's like, what do you want for your fade? And I'm like, I just came for a haircut. I was like, whatever you want. And then he took me over to this wall, and he's like, you could pick. And I was sitting there looking at it, and it was just like scary because it's just like you see all these other haircuts, and you're like, I really don't know what I want. I didn't know I was like shopping for a haircut today. Like, so he like I show him like I like that one, and he's like, all right. So I go back and I sit down, no talking still. And we fast forward, we get done close to an hour. I got done in an hour. He got done in like an hour and 15.
My experience was a little different, though.
Yeah. And so I had somebody that could speak a little English.
Yeah, on my end, it was not the case. So I sat down in the chair. The guy threw a Gucci like thing over me. It had like some cool bumblebee on the front. I'm like, all right, this is nice. I'm like, this is more professional. I've never like had this type of like setting for a haircut. But yeah, they had like rings all over their shop with like stands. Like they definitely were, what's it called? Professional. And they had like a Instagram, TikTok, something along the lines of that. Because I saw a GoPro on the shelf, this and that. I'm like, you know what they're doing here. I'm like, they know what they're doing. They're professional. But yeah, we had no idea what it was gonna cost or this or that. But like, really cool dudes by the end of the day. But when I sat down in the chair, got all prepped, I started telling the guy like, yeah, I want a mullet, take up the sides, like taper it in the back for me. Taper it, or on the sides, can I get it like to skin up, like whatever you'd like. However, like you know what to do. And the guy just looked at me, was just like, no, like, okay. Called over his buddy. His buddy came over and he just like sat on my side, like he just like kind of kneed down. He was like, all right, what do you need? And I explained the exact same thing to him. And then he look at the other guy, spit it back to him. And then he'd ask me like all the questions right then and there because he had a customer himself. So he wasn't really able to talk to me while I was getting the haircut. So he just asked all these questions. And I portrayed my point across to him pretty well, even though I didn't come out of there with a mullet. He came out with like a faded back with it looks really nice though. I mean, from what I wanted, I think this might be a nicer look, more professional. But yeah, my guy, I was watching him like do it the entire time. He had me like flip forward for the first part, and I'm like, oh, he's done on this side. Bro, it would take another 10 minutes. I'm like, I worked on the other side, and then it was another like 15 minutes, and he was just like taking his time going over it with like several different blades and like just stuff that I've never really seen. Because I mean, the most I paid for a haircut was like $20. Mind you, it was just like back home. It's just like a small barbershop. Very friendly with the guy back home, but Yeah, no, it was just a very different atmosphere, I guess you could say.
Definitely. I've never had my hair been worked on for more than an hour or close to an hour. And I was sitting there, and through the process, I was like, oh, because I was like, yeah, just like fade on the sides a little bit, cut off the top. I'm not really too picky. Just like, you do what you want.
That's
Bro,
the usual.
Yeah, it's just the usual for me. Well, I've never been there. These guys don't really know English, so I'm like kind of on edge. I'm not like trying to like make it look like that. So I'm like relaxed. I'm like, we're doing good. And then all of a sudden he starts cutting the sides. I'm like, yeah, that's what they usually do. Like I always compare it. And then he gets to the point where he's with scissors, and he literally put my hair flat down. It was like probably to my nose or a little bit longer. And he just cuts. I swear it was like
From eyebrow level.
But my eyebrow level. And I remember like I had horror stories from when I went to Walmart as a kid to get my hair cut.
The great clips, bro.
And like
That's what it's called.
they would cut your hair, and like you'd have like, I knew a lot of the ladies.
In and out, 10 minutes.
Yeah, but they'd be like quick, like 15, 10 minutes max, and you'd be out. But I remember the one time I was like very traumatized because they cut it too short. So like from that day on, when I'm like, oh yeah, not too much, it's like because of that reason. Well, he cut it really, really short, it seemed like, and I was like, oh no. And then he starts spinning me, and you know like how you have that feeling in your chest when you're like, you can't see what he's doing, but he's like doing stuff, and you're like, I was facing you. So my back was away from the mirror, and I couldn't see what was happening. And like, I'm trusting the guy, but I'm a little on edge because I don't want to say something to be like that person.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, for me, I had full trust in the process. I'm like, I explained my idea, I know what I want, he knows what I want, and bro turned me around like he did with you, and I just felt like his razor, he had on like a higher setting, and he just started buzzing the back. I'm like, like so
Yeah,
much
it's
for the
scary.
bullet.
It's scary. It's definitely like I don't know, it's different. Once I got turned back around, my hair was flat in my face, and my hair, I looked like Vector.
Victor, bro.
Victor. I look like Victor from Despicable Me.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I remember seeing this person off Snapchat who dresses up like them and like do like these testing videos, and it's like,
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's like
I've
an
seen them
electrical
before.
circuit works, and he tests it, and if it works, he gives a thumbs up, but he doesn't talk. But it's funny. But in that moment, I looked at myself in the mirror, my face was like, but I didn't show it because you don't ever want to do that to someone. Especially because they don't, like, he didn't speak, well, he spoke a little English, but he didn't speak crazy English, and I just didn't want to insult him. And I couldn't defend, like, I would want to say,
Couldn't really portray your
yeah.
point.
I didn't want to portray it that way. So I was like, I'm just going to keep quiet. And then it gets to the point, he's like, so, what would you, is that good? And I'm like, yeah, I just usually angle it up a little bit. He's like, all right, I got you. And then he flips my hair and he starts cutting at the angle, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then at the end, everything turned out. I love the haircut. It was my favorite haircut I've ever gotten, and it was scary at first, but it was definitely worth it.
You know, I think it's the time like they put into it. I've never sat down in a chair for longer than like I'd say 30 minutes at the max. This was an hour 15 for me. And the guy was like, you know what? I'll even do your beard. Don't worry about the cost. Like, I won't even add it. He's just like, I want you to really look nice. He didn't really say that because he was speaking in Spanish, but he pulled up a translator on his phone. He's like, don't worry, I got you. Essentially.
But I was very, very thankful today. They basically are our lifesavers.
Yeah,
They helped us out.
But yeah, at the end of it, it was basically I had to go over to the ATM, pull out money, and then hand it to him, whatever. And the guy at the end was just like, you know any Spanish? Or like he questioned me about like,
Do you know how to speak Spanish?
Yeah, do you know anything about Spanish? And I was just like, let me think. Like, one momento.
And everybody in there is like, okay. They start kind of chuckling a little bit.
And then I looked at him and I was just like, Biblioteca. Which is like one of the only things I remember from high school. I mean, afterwards I remembered baño, this, that, like different things. But
So it was just so funny because when he said that, there was a customer in there with his child, and they were sitting there, and mind you, everybody in there speaks Spanish. They're fluent at it. They could speak. I think some of them could have spoken English, but the majority was Spanish, and they didn't really know much English.
Their translator
Yeah.
left. They had a translator.
They had a translator. He left towards the end, but
I'd say halfway, bro.
yeah,
It was like 6 o'clock. Bro looked at his phone. He's like, well, I'm out.
yeah, but yeah, it was so funny because it's just they laugh so hard because I mean, in a sense, Americans do it sometimes when we see people try to speak English. We're like, it's not that, it's something else, but we're kind of rude about it. But they were really, really nice, and it was definitely worth going. We're probably gonna go back again.
Yeah, no, next time I go back, I'm going to learn a little bit of Spanish and just, like, walk up and be like, I'm going to just start talking. Like, I'm going to say something, make them laugh a little bit, try to get a conversation
Says a
going,
whole
'cause
joke in Spanish.
Yeah, no, please. That's all I want.
But definitely. So I hope this is a learning lesson for you guys where if it seems like it's impossible at first or it's scary, definitely dive right in.
No, I wouldn't even say a learning experience. Well, dude, I was just like, it was more of like an uncomfortable experience that turned into like something great. Like if you're ever uncomfortable in something,
keep doing it.
I mean,
Depending on what it is, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that entire time I was comfortable. It's not because of the person. It's not that at all. It's the part that I don't know how it's going to turn out. And like I always get nervous before like going certain places. Like I could never get a tattoo because I'd be so scared about like I know I'd hate that the next day. Like I've had that conversation. So like when I get a haircut, I'm like, I know I'm gonna like wake up and I'm gonna be like, I regret it. Like I don't like how it looks, and it's not their fault. It's how I said it to them. But I always get like that anxiousness before getting a haircut because I just don't know what to expect. And I think another thing that like kind of like got me more anxious was I couldn't really say exactly what I wanted. And I think if I was in Jared's position, I probably would have had a heart attack because, I mean, my guy spoke a little English, he understood it, and he was able to like talk to me about it. But
Dude,
Jared,
after I saw him how he did like the first side, like first 10 minutes, I'm like, I trust this guy with whatever he gives me. I had no doubt in his experience. I'm like, no way he can go wrong. I mean, they're
no, they're professional. They at the end of the day, they
had
have
hope.
they have licenses to be barbers and they do schooling for it. So like I do trust them. I trust anybody who's a professional. Sometimes not a professional, but
I've gotten my hair cut by non-professionals. Mom's friend, a friend that I met on a certain app, I guess you could say, but other things, of course. But
yeah.
I've experimented.
But no, definitely it's scary. But looking back on it, I would have laughed so hard in the moment. I wish I was just enjoying it a lot more, but I did. At the end, I was like laughing and just seeing Jared's face. I was smiling.
Yeah, no, they'd turn us back to back. We'd be looking at each other, and I would just be like, I'm trying not to move my head, but I just look at Justin, and just like a sigh would come over because he's over there smirking at me. I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah, because I'm trying to make him nervous. I'd be like,
wasn't
oh,
nervous.
you cut your hair too far. But yeah, no, I was very, very happy with that today. Hey guys, today's sponsor for the video is bookvacay.com. If you're looking to plan your next vacation and get away from the family or bring your family, because you know you always love them, go to bookvacay.com. The link will be in the description, and there's many, many, many vacations you can go on to the Bahamas. You can go on a cruise. It's
Most countries, from different arrays of booking a hotel to doing a cruise to doing this and that, and your activities are even scheduled for you.
Thank you to today's sponsor, bookvacay.com, and we'll get right back to the video. Something that I've seen in the news recently is a boxer who's known as Ryan Garcia. You might not know a whole lot about him. He's kind of young
I've
and
seen
unknown.
your TikTok clips that you sent me, and he's out there for the people, supposedly.
Yeah, and I'll give you a little bit of background information on him. I don't know his life story to a T, but I do know that he was looked at as a young prospect for boxing. Before the social media was like his thing, he was looked at as one of the fastest boxers at the time.
All right.
Like they were comparing him to Muhammad Ali, which I think is a controversial statement because, I mean, any person in their era is completely different. There's never going to be an exact of each other, but he was looked at as comparison to that. Well, he's been getting into more fights, as a boxer does. They just keep getting into fights and they keep doing what they do. That's their business. Well, recently, he had a post go on his Instagram saying 666 Ryan Garcia is dead. Like it was like
his page posted that.
Yes, his Instagram posted that.
Okay.
People were weirded out by it. They're like, "Well, what's going on? Like, is he all right?" Like they were contacting his family. His family was like, "Well, I don't know what's going on," and that's a scary thing. So he then goes on and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm all right. I'm here, but they have my card. They locked my cards. I can't get into my banks. Like my social media is messed up. Like everything's weirded out." So then he gets on Twitter and he starts saying stuff that we can't say the one word, but they're forcing him to watch some type of disgusting film, and it was in the Bohemian Grove. And the thing about the Bohemian Grove is it's like an annual place where these elites, like the leaders of these places, go.
Okay.
And they said that they basically tied him up and forced him to watch children,
Yada yada. Okay.
yada yada. Disgusting. What I'm bringing this to talk to you about is, do you see him faking something like this to get more controversy? Because he's having a fight.
Controversial?
Yeah, he's having a fight.
I don't think so. I mean, if you're already popular, what do you gain by, I mean, getting in the media to begin with? I don't know if that's going to be like in the news and this and the, like if that's going to make it anywhere besides where it already went. Because it's just like a very odd story.
No, but so the thing about that is his name was I think still trending by the time of this podcast coming out. It was still trending on Twitter, and it's been out for like a week now that his like posts have been coming out. He's been having the most ever interactions on his profile with the recent things he's been putting out, the most engagement, and I've been just sitting there and I'm trying to see it from both sides. I definitely think
So is that why his one video was just like he's out there, like he fought for like this one kid, I forget who, like he was mentioning, but he's just like, my next fight, that the person I'm fighting for, he's like, I'm fighting for the kids and like kids being trafficked, I believe it was. So that's
Yeah, I definitely think that fighting for a cause like that, because it is an issue. It is. I mean, there's movies that have been put out about this. I think it's definitely out there. It's not. It's awful, and people who don't think that this world, or people who think that this world is perfect, I think that's flawed, because there's a lot of flawed things.
I don't think a lot of people think this world's perfect. There's a lot of hair all over it.
I know, but it's just something that I find crazy, and to think that they have a place where the elites even, I guess, hang out. I mean, there's videos.
It's expected. I'm not gonna lie. You're telling me if you were, I'm not saying you would be one of the elites. I'm just saying like people of power are gonna meet other people of power and then introduce them to other people of the same status.
But have you seen the videos?
I don't want to see the videos. I don't care to.
Well, no.
It's beyond
Obviously,
my range
no.
of, like, whatever it is.
No, I'm talking about the actual site, not like the videos they were showing Ryan. I'm talking about the actual site. I just want to like clear that up. And it's like crazy to think that the people who have most power, and it's weird. Now, mind you, everything nowadays could be edited. I mean, this little clip of me talking to you could be edited and put through AI, and it can just generate my voice and say whatever it wants.
You could take our voice recordings and you could literally replicate it to say anything.
And it's freaky. It's scary. But it's just like, at the end of the day, you don't know whether or not anything's
So
true.
you said it's an image or it's a video?
It's a video, and it has audio.
They're actually making movies now to where AI generated movies.
Yeah, I know.
They type in a whole script and
Yeah.
then it generates a movie.
No. Yeah, I've heard about that. I actually
it's not
ended
only
up,
just photos anymore.
yeah, it's crazy. But no, like the whole thing with Ryan, I mean, I hope he's all right. I hope that he's in good spirits. I don't know.
From the videos I've seen, it seems like he's fine to a point.
I don't know. It's just
I didn't
been
know
really
the backstory
weird.
though, so I never
Yeah.
really thought about like the
So,
whole thing. I just knew that like he's just some fighter fighting for a cause. I'm like,
Yeah, I
Power to the
support
people
that.
for that.
I hope whatever he's going through, he's battling those demons, because, I mean,
It happens.
He's had a horrible history. At the end of the day, that's his life story. So just saying it is informing them. Because I think you see these short clips, and depending on what side you're on, I hope you understand and know the facts. And you get a different perception of him. Because a lot of people are saying it's fake when other people are saying, well, it's true. We don't know that, and that's the scary part.
Either way, it's already out there. So if that did happen, it's out there now, and it's been there, so now it's part of the past. Like this video, when it first started, it's part of the past.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, like, with something with that, you have to confront it, though. You can't just let it go. I know,
he did on
but
social media.
I feel like there's a lot more that has to be done still. If it is true, like, I don't know.
They'll have people looking into it then. If it's,
I just find it crazy. I mean, I understand what you're saying, just like let it go, but it's just like it's been weird. I feel like there's clues, but he said, "All right, guys, moving on. I'm going to only focus on boxing and other sports related questions from now on." And it was weird because, I mean, you say stuff like that and you have everybody watching your every move. And just to say that I'm not talking about that anymore, they're after me. It's kind of suspicious. He went on a thing with Andrew Tate, like a little interview on Zoom.
of course.
And Andrew Tate's like, "Hey, stop with whatever you're doing." He's like, He's like, "What?" And obviously this isn't like the actual word exchange they said, but Andrew Tate's like, "You have to watch what you're saying." And he's like, I'm fighting the truth, basically, like essentially. And I just find that crazy that like someone who's been going through that, obviously not some of the same stuff, but
yeah,
he's been put through the legal system, and he's telling someone like Ryan Garcia to watch what they're saying, even if it is true. I find that wild.
I know yeah.
So I'm just kind of blabbing on, but that's the whole point of this, is just to talk about stuff that is happening in the news. So
since we're on the boxing topic, how about the fight between
Sugar.
Jake? No,
Oh.
Sugar was pretty good. We watched that together.
Yeah, it was
just at
interesting.
a college friend dorm or apartment. That was pretty good.
And we don't watch a lot of UFC, but I definitely foresee us watching a lot of UFC in the future. I think that was a lot of fun. I mean, especially with a group of people that are just into it. It like gets you into it. It's like football.
My friend group, like Luke and all that.
Yeah,
they all watch it.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. See,
they were posting about it the entire time in the group chat, since they're all like gone for spring break. They were like sending like stuff in the chat, like this and that, like, "Yo, bro." And then I forget, Luke sent something kind of funny, but
yeah, but the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is crazy, and I've heard from both sides a lot of people saying, "Well, it's rigged. Jake Paul's just in it for the money. He's not really doing it for any. And if he wins, wow, you beat a 6-year-old, or wow, you lose, you're really awful." I don't know how I feel about it.
So I've talked to multiple people, and it's very funny because some people are strong one way, some people are strong the other. Like, oh, he has it in the bag, like either or fighter. And the funny topic that Justin brought up to me is, if Jake Paul does win, like, what does he get to say about it?
Yeah.
Like, either he wins and they could say that he was washed up, and if he loses, they could say that, oh, he's not a good fighter.
Which I always want to look at everything from like someone else's perspective, and I question people, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's so stupid. Why would he, like he's like choosing what fights he wants?" And I'm like, "Hey, props to him. Like, his dad, Jake's dad, grew up watching one of the greatest people of all time, Mike Tyson. It was his favorite boxer. It was
in the intro to the fight. It showed him and his dad, and he was just like, "Hey, Dad, who was your favorite fighter back then?"
Mike Tyson.
And he literally said Mike Tyson, bro.
And it's just crazy because it's just like, if I was into a certain thing like NASCAR and I had like the opportunity to race someone I looked up to, like, I'm giving like something other than boxing.
Yeah.
But like, just to have the opportunity to face one of the greats,
You got to rival somebody.
And to get paid while doing it, probably a huge purse. Like, why wouldn't you take that? And people are like, "Oh, I wouldn't take it." And I'm like, So you're telling me that you wouldn't take a fight against one of the greats and just to have fun? I mean, at the end of the day,
have
like,
fun is the way to put it, I guess.
I mean, they're both making money.
Well, it's not all about money.
Well, I know, but it's just like they're getting their stuff. Well, Mike Tyson doesn't need to get himself out there. He's just doing this for fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's nothing gaining.
And how I see it is that they both mutually said yes to it. It wasn't like forced to a point. Like they both are anticipating this fight and they're both looking forward to it.
Yeah, I find it awesome.
And they're both training hard. So, I mean, it's inspiring both to do something that they enjoy. And I don't see any negative in it at all. Like, at the end of the day, the outcome is the outcome. And I'm not saying I'm favoriting one fighter over the other. Like, this is going to be an amazing fight either way.
I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to do it. It's on Netflix. Like, you don't even have to pay for the pay-per-view. It's live on Netflix.
In every household, for the most part,
has Netflix.
Usually. They set all, like, the viewers and this and that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people own Netflix, and that means...
So many people are going to watch this. I mean...
Do you think it's going to be one of the largest streamed fights?
Oh, definitely. Netflix got the powerhouse move, I think, out of 2024 boxing. Or UFC,
in general.
In general. But I think it's obviously going to change with like the increasing population. But like I think in a long time, this is going to be a historic moment for Netflix because they're trying to transition from going from shows to kind of live entertainment.
Yeah, movies and shows.
Yeah.
Because that's what Hulu was doing and like Paramount and a couple others with like football, so.
Yeah, no. They've always done like that live broadcasting, but they've become a lot better at it. And Netflix is kind of rolling a little bit behind, so they're trying to bring something that'll cause viewership to happen at live time, and this is it. I mean, considerably people who have really good records, Mike Tyson obviously having a better one, but Jake Paul's 10-1, has many KOs.
He's only fought 10 fights or 11 fights. I feel like he's been
professional fights. There's a
I feel
difference
like he's
between
been fighting
professional
for a while.
Yes, he's been doing it for a couple of years now. I don't keep up with him crazy, but I definitely see some highlights. He's actually gotten me into boxing. I'm not like a huge Jake Paul fan, but I consider myself to like. It's interesting. I mean, to say someone's almost a billionaire at the age of 25, 20. In
it's
his
impressive
20s.
what he's
done. It's impressive.
Done.
I mean, you can't take that away from someone. I think. If you were hustling at the age of 18 and you got $1 million, I'd look up to you more than ever. I mean, you're my brother at the end of the day, so I already look up to you. But it's something else. Like, I think you would have other followers accept me. You know what I mean? So, like,
of course.
But people who are like, oh, well, this whole thing's going to be rigged. It's going to be fake. It's going to be that. What do you get out of faking it? Like, I don't think Mike Tyson's the type of person who's going to want to fake anything. Because he bit someone's ear off. Like, you're telling me someone like that, who, like, one has been in prison, who, like, 3 weeks after prison went into a boxing match and destroyed who he went against.
Bro is training in the cell.
Yeah, no. So, like, you're telling me, like, what does Mike Tyson get out of this? Obviously, he gets money, but, like, he doesn't get his name out there. He's already the GREAT. He's one of the GOATs. Like, if he's not in your top 5, okay, that's a little controversial. But, like, if he's not up there, I don't know. He doesn't get anything from this. Jake Paul, on the other hand, he gets a lot. He gets a lot of more. I think he's going to get a lot of the older population to look at him and treat him differently because everybody right now is saying, really just, he's a young amateur boxer. He's nothing. He's not going to get in a pro fight. I consider the Mike Tyson fight a pro fight. Really, like.
Yeah, no, I would say so.
But people are then going to argue and say, well, age. But.
It's just two sides of a coin.
I think Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, if they were the same age, they'd still fight. It'd be a lot more interesting and crazy, and I think it would definitely lean towards one side than the other, but it's just, that's what it came to be. You can't choose when you're born, and if you could, that'd be crazy. But...
Or just choose your age. Imagine if, like, one day, or even in heaven, everybody's the same age.
Yeah,
Like, I know, but, like, some people might see their prime as, like, 40. Mm-hmm. But imagine you walked into a room of everybody you knew at the age of 20.
It's crazy. Yeah, I
couldn't
even think that.
Think how cool it'd be to see your grandfather to somebody, like every person you ever interacted with. I feel like that'd be the coolest experience of your life.
That would be really cool. I've never actually thought about that. And I've heard it being mentioned.
I remember seeing it somewhere. And it was just like, who's the first person that you'd want to, like, see? Like, if you could go back to a time or go somewhere where you've seen every single person in your life and you go into that room, who are you looking for first? And then I interpret it as in like, imagine if everybody in that room was the same age.
That'd be weird. Imagine trying to see your parents and they're like your same age.
Oh,
You're like, I don't know you. Like,
you've only ever seen photos.
You only ever seen photos. Like, that'd be crazy to me.
You want to know something that's cool? So from our generation to our parents' generation, the photos completely different on how many photos have been taken. Like, oh yeah, we have photo albums. Our generation, when we're parents, it's gonna be like, oh, this is my Snapchat history from 30 years ago.
Yeah,
and it's just gonna be
crazy.
your life dial, like what's it called, like life flashbacks of like everything you've done.
No, it's gonna be crazy. I think it's getting to the point where, I mean, this is gonna be talked about in a later episode, but they're making like these things that they can recall memory from your brain. Like you can actually relive that moment. Like you could see it.
Oh, I mean, everything's stored in your brain from psychology, which you've probably learned.
You have
like
long
something
term,
about.
short term, and like.
So
modified.
everything's still there, but some things get rewritten over. But if you have like a memory rejog, like it can like strengthen that pathway. And the more you think about something, like the more.
But it's crazy. Like you don't remember every fine detail.
No, but you
Like-
remember the general plot because it slowly gets weakened.
Well, yeah, and the thing that's crazy with that is if you were to go and eat out with your friends and nothing happened, and you have that same meal the next day, that memory of that meal morphs into one. And it's not like it's actually like you remember that one. Like you'll remember the days, but there's certain aspects that happen when you're talking get morphed into one another. And it's crazy.
Where'd you see this? Because I think technology is really cool, but at the same time scary. But where'd you see this concept of pulling out memories? I have yet to hear about that. I mean, I saw something cool.
It's a concept with the brain chip that they want to.
Okay.
So it's actually going to be able. What they want it to do is that you can control what memories you can have. Like it'll actually show.
That's cool.
And I mean, but is it cool enough to put it on your brain? That's the question.
They're gonna have so many benefits with it, where people are gonna be like, "Let's do it."
But think of how many people are going to pass away from it, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not saying that's not gonna happen. I mean,
It's crazy. I find it crazy to like have. You're not guaranteed anything.
so other technology though. Before we dive in on this topic, because I want to save this because
Yeah, we're gonna
it's
save it.
very very long, and I believe
Yeah.
we could.
We could make a couple episodes.
I want to go that far,
I know, I get it,
But what's it called? I want to talk about Disney. Disney Research. They funded what's it called? So you know how we have what's it called, VR reality, and they're trying to make like a world in VR where people hop on and they have like their own lives on there. One of the like major people with like $1 billion, somebody was trying to develop that like a year or 2 years ago. Forget who, but Disney's research team at Disney, of course, they came up with a floor that's multi-walkable. It moves in all directions. I found that so cool. So you can put on the VR headset. I don't know if you can run on it yet.
No, you can't.
But you can walk in a room and consistently walk straight and not have to like stop, like move your character back or this or that. You walk on a movable floor that moves in every direction.
I find that scary.
It's omni movement, I believe it's
yeah,
called.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, no, I find that crazy that it's like technology itself is getting so advanced that you're telling me I could walk and I could stay in the same exact spot. It's only ever been like a concept.
To think it can only like it's only gonna become crazier in the next like 10 years. Like from 2000s to like 2020. The leap in
so
technology
much.
is insane.
I've actually looked at this. So humans evolve over time. Like that's what people consider.
Okay.
And
Well, yeah.
technology, though, when it's compared to technology, it's almost as if it's a linear line in just 20 years, or like 100 or 150 or 1,000. Because when you think about it, the human kind of goes like the way evolution works. Supposedly is that it starts to slowly go like that, but when it was compared to technology was like this.
Oh
from
yeah,
like
and
the
whole
1600s already. So it's like almost a perpendicular line compared to humans. I find that crazy. That like you could look up anything.
Exploded.
You could look up anything right now. I don't know. Let's just say I don't know why this cable just stopped working. You look up the exact reason, and then literally in 0.5 seconds you have an answer.
On
Possible
YouTube
answer.
to Reddit to
And you can identify
any
it.
platform.
Yeah, and it's crazy because think about like back then when obviously none of this was here, but like something went and they had to fix it. I mean, it would have been simpler, but
You take it to the repairman who's specialized in that field for the last 20 years.
what happens if they don't have a repairman and they have to do it themselves?
Well, that's what the repairman was for. Like, oh, you don't buy a new vacuum.
I
you get your
get that.
vacuum repaired by the vacuum man.
But it's just crazy to think that like technology itself has such a leap forward, and it's almost a linear line compared to humans. It's wild.
In all fields of technology, from, I don't even want to bring it up, but like warfare to at home and in peace, like just sitting there on your phone, to the enjoyments of different types of technology. I don't think humans are like capable of like evolving with it as fast as it's coming. Like, of course, but like it's going to cause problems, I believe, because we've never had this and it's exploded. I don't know what generation it's going to affect more, like us or the younger or the older. I mean, the older are going to age out, of course, but like it's going to have an effect, I'd say, in the near future, where it's just like a completely different society, and we're going to adapt to it, of course, as humans do. It's just going to be very, very different.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories where people were like, when they started making technology for crop rotation and actually like rototillers and all that, when we went through the Industrial Revolution, and people were like, oh, that's evil, don't trust the machines, because like they were like concerned about it because they didn't want machines to take over. They're trying to compare it to how AI is and how that's developing, and how they're like, oh, well, we're just going to evolve with it. But how are you going to keep up with something that evolves at a linear line?
They made an AI that basically became self-aware. I'd have to do some more research on it, but they made an AI to the point to where its thought process was instant, and you just kept feeding it information, and it kept building on the information. Like, it saved everything you ever told it.
That's crazy.
And it was just like copy and pasting like everything off of like Google, and you just paste it in there and it just recalls it instantly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they were going to use it for like law, like for judges, this and that, lawyers, more as lawyers, so you can defend a case. So you like put in a case and it compares it to all the previous cases, and it would spit out like what the result or like how you go about it.
Because think about it, it takes away.
That's only one instance.
No, I know, but like just in that very instance itself, it's just like then why even have a jury at that point?
So
you have a machine that can go through and analyze it so meticulous and finally exact that you can find an exact scenario where it will come out to your outcome.
Yeah. So also think
that's
about
decided by humans. So by fault, you're leaning on a system that's already faulty.
So think about doctors. You input all the symptoms and the patient just puts in everything that they have, whatever they want to put into it.
That's crazy.
Ethnicity, this, that. And they could just, like, because if they make one for that field, they can make another one for another field. And imagine how everything changes that quick within the matter of years.
No, that'd be crazy. I don't even know how I'd feel with that. Like, I mean, I could see good, but I also see, like, the other side of the spectrum where it's like, this is scary. You're developing something that has its own
That's what I was saying. It's a little bit of both. It's like, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, everything in life has... You have like pros, and then obviously you have the cons with everything. But no, like AI is developing. We're not trying to scare you guys, but it's just like be aware. I mean, look at your surroundings, and just you'll notice everything's gonna keep changing around you. I mean, so much has changed in my years of living.
You don't really notice it because it's just like, oh, like this happened today.
Yeah, it's just like a new development.
And then it's just like after a couple
Apple
years.
Vision.
I don't know too much about that. I just know it's a headset. It's a VR headset that you put your phone
But they don't
into.
call it the VR. They call it like optical or something awareness. It's weird.
I just know that it's a thing.
Yeah, no,
and that you could like see through it.
Yeah, it is freaky. I think we're starting to move into Ready Player One.
That'd be cool.
It's
That's
cool.
what I'm saying. How like there's gonna be a whole other world.
But it's cool.
Inside
But it's just
of
like
VR.
Then the question arises is like
the terminology for it. There's a name
something
for it.
happens in that game, like
the
you
point
feel
of
that simulation. So like you die in the game, will that then happen in real life?
No, you just would lose everything if it's like player one, unless it's like another like fiction of like something like happening.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's just like
I don't think it'd ever evolve
freaky.
to that point because you're gonna be dealing with human rights and being like you can't you can't cause harm to people. Like, I don't think it'll ever get to the point where a game causes harm to the actual individual. I don't think they'd allow that.
No, I get that, but there's also stuff that's already happening nowadays where they're just like, there is harms happening to people and they just let it slide. They're just like, oh, we'll put that under the rug. You know what I mean?
No. Harms, they don't allow, like, companies are not
Foods.
allowed.
Foods. American foods.
Okay.
Food in America
they limit
is crazy.
Okay.
We just recently were doing a taste testing review just for like our own fun. We ended up going to this chain place.
again.
I won't say because I'm not trying to like hate on it and like tell the name. But we went there. Well, we didn't go there, but we had it delivered. We get it.
We did the food
That
review.
food was so unhealthy, extremely unhealthy.
We were just like, oh, we've had it once before. We just want to have a second try at it and just see how it is. So we sat down, filmed the video on our phone or on the camera, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever see online.
No, probably not.
But
It was.
it ended with me on the couch, just holding my stomach, like, oh my god,
it affected
feels
us
just
for a
so
couple
unhealthy.
days.
I woke up the next morning just feeling so unmotivated.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that, because I mean,
but like what I'm saying
you could
is,
limit on what you get on it though.
No,
Or,
I-
like,
yeah,
you could
obviously,
limit, like the
yeah.
sides and this and that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, there's stuff already in America that like, that's not healthy. Why is that out to the public? Like, people have fought McDonald's because McDonald's causes obesity, but then that then falls.
Consumption.
Yeah, and then that falls on the consumer. Well, isn't it the consumer's fault for choosing to have McDonald's? Well, it's affordable. Well, then why not make affordable healthy? And then it crosses that line.
So believe it or not, I've lived with a couple people that have been highly in the gym, and living healthy is not that much money. From getting rice to vegetables, frozen vegetables, getting stuff like that from like rice chicken and a couple other things that are like healthy, even eggs.
But why is it if people can't do those? Why is it it's like a vegetarian, you know what I mean? Like they can't have meat. I mean,
There's
obviously
other-
it's expensive though to have those substitutions of like those.
Then it might be more pricier because
Yeah.
you're looking to choose
I'm just
another
saying,
route
like,
that's not.
I just wish there was a
as
fast
developed.
food place that was strictly it focused on the care for the people. Everything was freshly made, but
Then it wouldn't be fast.
it wouldn't be fast food.
because then
the
that's a
problem.
restaurant. Well, some restaurants.
Yeah, but even some restaurants like that are chain restaurants.
Yeah.
Where they're, like they ship in their own supplies, which is like fast food, but it's just like it's like a lot of them that we go to is a chain restaurant.
That's the difference between a restaurant, which is a sit-in, dine-in, more professional food, more
And then like a corporate dine.
no,
Oh.
than fast food, which is more like frozen stuff, put it in the microwave.
But even
pull
with
it
the
out.
restaurant that we sit down in, if it's a franchise,
it's usually not freshly cooked, but it's transported in, and it's.
but it's frozen.
I don't know the underlying works of it to be honest.
But what I'm saying
not
is like
gonna
it's,
lie.
at the end of the day, it is fast food.
But
It's
you're
just
also,
a different form of fast food. It's just like you're sitting there and
You
they're
would think-
like they're actually cooking on a flat top, but it's just like it's their own, like it's their own beef. It's like they're not buying it from the neighbor. You know what I mean? Or the store that right across from the street.
There's too many mouths to feed to do it like that.
No, I get that.
If every place had to have its own stock of cow outside of their business,
No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is like buying it from like an actual like
manufacturer that
no,
produces-
not like but like an actual farm, like a nearby farm for like
Oh.
corn or something like that. That's not the case unless you get to like these really really nice restaurants, like the ones that are like a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Like the family restaurants. I consider those like real deal, like because they're not around the nation. They're like one of a kind.
I don't know how they get their food. I'd have to look into it, to be honest.
My one friend has a restaurant. I've gone there and they get
We can
freshly
give them a
sourced.
shout out next time, or make
It's
them,
it's. I just don't want to be saying names because at the end of the day, like
no, I get it. I'm just saying.
yeah, no. But he has a restaurant,
Sponsor.
and yes, yeah, he has
That's
a
what I was
restaurant,
going forward with.
and he gets freshly sourced stuff, and it's notably different than going to a franchise and sitting down and having their food. And it's not bad at the end of the day. Like I love it, but it's just like there's a difference. So then it ties in like back to the whole topic of like this thing, if you pass away in the game, will happen in person. It's just like, you really think the government cares
About
like humans,
people?
like the people? I mean, they care about us because they can govern us, but it's just
I say they do care. That there will always be limitations on everything
always,
to protect
yes.
the people.
Yes,
Because
but-
there will always be a fight that someone brings up, and that ends up in the House and then the Congress and then this.
That's true.
Like it'll always end up there because somebody will always have a fighting position.
Yeah, that is true. I just find it crazy though that like they're developing a floor, the omnidirectional floor, where it's just
It's
like,
only one instance of technology. There's
yeah, there's so
many
much,
others.
but like it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna probably fill up like a mall full of that, and you're just like,
So hear me out. What if you were able to think about like technical, like stuff that you'd want to see in the future ahead of time, and then like
why would I be here right now saying that though? I'd be like, I want
because
this.
you're trying to inspire others to
Oh.
do stuff like that.
No, I get with that.
But I'm just saying, like, think about stuff that could be in the future, because everything right now is at our fingertips with technology. As of right now, like we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, with,
Something that was not seen like 20 years ago by anybody. Like
Well,
unless
no,
you were at
probably-
like a radio station.
yeah.
Like something like that. Like this was not a common thing for college kids to do, nonetheless.
No, this is crazy. Very, very, very lucky to have this. But no, you're right. A lot has changed. But I think something that will become possible one day will be teleportation. But it's not like what you're thinking.
Yeah, I was about to say I wouldn't.
It's not just like you stand on this thing and you just teleport. I think that the means of teleportation would be the means of going in the speed of light. And that's how you teleport. Because if you do the speed of light around
There's
the world,
nothing even proven there. That's a
no, but what I'm
undeveloped topic
but what I'm saying
completely.
is AI is able to develop, like, there's equations out there already that prove that you can
So what AI does?
go into the future. There's equations out there that Albert Einstein have developed that it's obviously in theory, but
So all the AI does though is take stuff from the past. It doesn't really develop anything.
But when-
it just takes
but
stuff.
when it does develop-
when it takes stuff from the past and then like correlates it to the future, that's something. But
AI
as
is a
of right
predictor,
now,
though. That's what it's entailed to do. AI predicts outcomes. That's what humans want. They want to predict. They're
Yeah,
having
that's-
AI predict what teams are going to win what already in sports. They're already doing that.
yeah, by analyzing stats,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, but they're sitting there and they're trying to predict the future. But
They're
when
inputting information. It only analyzes information from the past, and then feeds you information that was correlated to that information. If that makes sense. Like it will never predict like something that's like that hasn't happened.
what do you mean?
So what I mean
Oh, I
by
get
that,
no, I get what
like,
you're saying.
It
yeah.
cannot like predict the future to any point. It can only give you like an assumption of like, oh, like I don't know. I've used different like AIs and nothing's ever like everything's
Yeah, but
stuck
those are the
at
ones that
2020
are, no, but those are the ones that are given to the public. Think about the ones that are in
know.
development. It's gonna be
through
like
the government, this and that. Yeah,
It's gonna be crazy, like what AI is probably gonna be doing in 5 years from now, probably 2 years from now.
it's gonna be running the
It's
election.
probably it's probably gonna be running like the whole news wire. It's gonna be like running your entire radio
They're
stations.
gonna have like
It's-
Alexa on it then.
Yeah,
Like Alexa's gonna
it's
be
gonna be
powered by
crazy.
it.
Like it's, I don't even want to get into that topic, but it's just wild. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening and just having us talk about these random topics. Quite literally just yapping today. Be sure to click that subscribe, like, and notification bell button when you guys head out so you can be notified when we post our next podcast. And if you're watching on Spotify, well, listening on Spotify and watching, because you can do videos now, and listening on podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, I hope you guys like it, and you tune in for more.
Hope you just found something interesting. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
And to the future episodes, there's going to be a lot of fun, and it could go any way. So
It's going to be
just
crazy.
Stay tuned.
It's going to be crazy. So, all right. Peace out.
In the bustling world of technology and connectivity, one trend stands out, gaining momentum and making waves in the fabric of modern communication. This trend, my dear listeners, is none other than podcasting. Podcasting, a term that traces its roots back to the golden age of iPods and broadcasting, has evolved from a niche hobby into a global phenomenon. It's a revolution that's transforming the way we consume information, learn new things, and engage with various topics.
Hey guys, welcome back to Just Yakkin.
We're gonna have a shelf, and then we're gonna have a guest on, and then
We're going to Salval for the potty.
Our top story, Jake.
That was good. That was good. I was not expecting that.
Bro, it literally just broke my heart. The whole point of today was coming out to get lighting.
Richest and most influential people in the world go to some.
My life be just so random. Dude,
Yeah.
you agree?
Well, that's just what it is. A bunch of just individuals walking around doing their daily lives and people bumping into each other. Next thing you know, you bump into somebody you know, even though you're in an ocean filled with people that you don't know. All the time, we spend our lives.
So today we got a couple things we want to talk about, and
What do we have now, Justin?
Mike.
but after having that heart attack of a meal, after just eating the burger, I thought I was done. We are back. I'm talking to you through this. No, I'm actually not. I don't have the XLR cable. So this is the Live Track L8.
Talk into the mic too, please, if you don't mind.
It works out better when you do it like that and you're actually like talking to the mic. By the way, these don't like gorilla grip it because I accidentally.
Rusted.
You want to join in on our little
A little talk. Journey.